Baba nitende muujiza,
ashuhudie nitende muujiza,
Baba nitende muujiza,
ashuhudie nitende muujiza,
tabu ziondoke kwangu,
ashuhudie nitende muujiza,
furaha irudi kwa nyumba yangu,
ashuhudie nitende muujiza,
kazi irudi mikononi mwangu,
ashuhudie nitende muujiza,
yote alivyoninyang'anya,
ashuhudie nitende muujiza,
arudishe furaha yangu,
ashuhudie nitende muujiza,
arudishe uchumi wangu Baba,
ashuhudie nitende muujiza,
arudishe afya yangu Baba,
ashuhudie nitende muujiza, ashuhudie.
alisema sitoweza kubarikiwa, nitende muujiza, ashuhudie.
Nakuja kwako Baba, ninaomba nitende muujiza, ashuhudie.
Shetani alileta aibu kwangu, rudishe heshima yangu, ashuhudie.
Nakuja kwako Baba, ninaomba nitende muujiza, ashuhudie.
Alisema sitoweza kubarikiwa, nitende muujiza, nibarikiwe.
Nakuja kwako Baba, ninaomba nitende muujiza, ashuhudie.
Shetani alileta laana kwangu, ondoa laana kwangu, ashuhudie.
Nakuja kwako Baba, ninaomba nitende muujiza, ashuhudie.
Aliniletea magonjwa yakanitesa, niponye Mungu wangu, ashuhudie.
Nakuja kwako Baba, ninaomba nitende muujiza, ashuhudie.
Aliniletea magonjwa, sina amani, rudisha amani yangu, ashuhudie.
Nakuja kwako Baba, ninaomba nitende muujiza, ashuhudie.
Aliniletea laana, umasikini, rudisha utajiri wangu, ashuhudie.
Nakuja kwako Baba, ninaomba nitende muujiza, ashuhudie.
Shetani aliharibu watoto wangu, rudisha nafasi zao, ashuhudie.
Nakuja kwako Baba, ninaomba nitende muujiza, ashuhudie.
Shetani aliharibu.
They say the earth without art would just be, get it? We circumnavigate the globe and traverse the local scene to bring you art and culture at their very best. From fine art, culinary art, performing arts, and even cultural events, you name it, and we have got you covered. My name is Kevin Kasioki, and I will be serving you this and much, much more each and every Friday at 8 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.
Praise the Lord. My name is Pastor Tim Wangi, and I want to invite you for a life-changing, transformative show.
I was blinded and thrown to the floor on my knees, just like Saul.
Conversations. Gen Z ni nani? E-boldness. Mnatoa wapi?
Kuna mentality fulani yenye inakujenga. Si a rebellion really, but ni ya ku-question system.
Engagements that are life-changing and provocative.
When you are young, your core business should be to create value in yourself.
Join me, DJ Andy C, bringing to you Kingdom Vibe, full of gospel bangers.
Join us for Angaza Show.
Every Saturday from 5 p.m.
Only on KBC Channel 1.
Good morning. Good morning. 10th day of September 2025. Good morning to you, each and every person from whichever part of this country or even across our borders online. Welcome to Good Morning Kenya. My name is Victor Olo. You can find me at Victor Olo at KBC Channel 1. And we are right on time to give you updated on what's happening across the country. I must say that all of us, our predictions fell flat. Fell flat. We are sorry to the Harambee Stars. We are sorry. We belittled you, but we are sorry. I predicted 1-0. What did you predict?
I predicted 1-0 as well.
I gave it a 2-0.
A 2-0.
Yeah.
Yes. All of our predictions fell flat. Apparently.
I even remember.
Fortunately, actually.
One of the guests who was here predicted a 3-0 win.
A 3-0?
Yes.
But none of us got it right.
Yeah.
At halftime, there were already 4.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? That was such a wonderful game to watch, you know?
Exactly.
Goal after goal after goal. It was so beautiful, such a spectacle.
It was.
Yeah, congratulations to the Harambee Stars.
Yes. Okay, so we'll be talking about that and much more. Vivian, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you. A very good morning to each and every one of you who is watching the show, and allow me to welcome you to the program. As usual, it is always a pleasure to have you start off your day right here with us on Good Morning Kenya. This is the best way to start off your morning. And you know that when it's a Wednesday, it's a day when we get to highlight or get to bring to you a woman who is doing great things for her community, who is doing amazing work at the line of work that she is in, that is on our Women at the Forefront. And today will be no different. I will be bringing to you one Mary Kay Bangson, and she is an educationist, a musicologist, and coach as well. And she's invested in education and very passionate about inspiring the next generation. Our topic of conversation will be on bridging cultures and inspiring minds. This is the story of a Kenyan teacher who crossed the borders, went all the way to Sweden, and became a star. You definitely want to stay tuned just to get to know more about Mary and the work that she is doing. Mike?
Indeed. Within that same realm of making change, we're talking about change makers. Today I'll be talking to one gentleman who is using education, culture, and youth empowerment to make considerable change. His name is Felix Chengo, who is the director of Uwezo College and also a published author. He will be joining me here on set to talk about how to foster education, culture, and youth empowerment. That is a conversation that will be coming to you later on in the program. And also the aspect when it comes to life, and this is with regard to today's quote. How do you think of life? Is life an adventure to you? Yeah, today's quote is about life. So do not stop thinking of life as an adventure. You have no security unless you can live bravely, excitingly, imaginatively, unless you can choose a challenge instead of competence. Do not stop thinking of life as an adventure. You have no security unless you can live bravely, excitingly, imaginatively, unless you can choose a challenge instead of competence. That is a quote by Eleanor Roosevelt. Victor?
Absolutely. That's a powerful quote. Okay, so when you talk about security, we have to talk about security as well, because the Kenya Kwanza administration is now heading towards third year in power. And I want us to take a look at that and so much more that we have to talk about. We have to talk about devolution, economy, housing, human rights, and so much more that I want us to talk about today, just taking stock on what President William Ruto's administration scorecard is 3 years down the line. Peter Mutua, who is governance and leadership expert, will be in studio. Akelo Misori, Secgen of KUPPET as well, to help us talk about matters education. Daniel Juma Omondi, Africa Regional Representative of the Global Peace Foundation, and Philomena Gatacha, who is an advocate of the High Court, will be here shortly, so that we talk about this as we head towards the 13th day of September, when President William Ruto was officially sworn in. And here we are. All right, so how about I first take you through the front page? Let me just ask you, Vivian, 3 years since the president took power. What do you make of his administration?
Well, 3 years into President William Ruto's administration, I would say it has been one of the toughest years, considering what has been happening over the years since he, after the first year, he has gotten to tackle much. When it comes to the younger generation, that is Gen Z, they have been on his neck, if I may say so. And a lot has been happening, and he's gotten to deliver some of the things that he had set down to deliver. I mean, when it comes to the housing projects that he is very loud about, that he has been really intentional with from the start, well, he is delivering that, and he's gotten to also work on a number of things. There's the SHA, and I mean, it's quite debatable when it comes to SHA, because there are people who are saying it's not working. There are those who are saying, yes, I've gone to hospital and it has helped me. So I would say it's been 3 tough years on the president's side.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is what he signed up for. Mike?
Yeah, indeed. 3 years and governing a country like Kenya, it's not easy, but we have to give due where it's. We have to load the projects that he has undertaken. As Vivian has put, there's housing, there's matters to do with health. There's the aspect of sports, because currently there's a stadium that is coming up at Talanta Academy here in Nairobi, and a host of other stadiums, given that sports is one of the things that can be used to tap into the talent, especially the young generation. I think on those areas he has excelled, but also challenges abound. It's never a smooth sail. 3 years on, but I would say he has done his part, and there's still more that needs to be done. So it's for Kenyans to just wait and support where they can. And if you look at matters to do with participation of the people in matters governance, I think the space has grown. Kenyans are more now able to participate in matters that have to do with how they are governed, how the economy is, and the direction in which they want to take. I think that is a space that has grown in the last 3 years.
Right, very good. Okay, so we're talking about that and much more. And of course, before that, thank you. We have to get it on the road already. And starting with the front page of the local dailies, as I welcome my guest on set, let me start with the front page of the Star newspaper, which says that how LSK court move could hit MPs and 2027 aspirant hard. How LSK court move could hit MPs and 2027 aspirants hard. They want 6 agencies to enforce leadership and integrity laws. That is what is here. That story is on the front page of the Star newspaper, and of course it's also fleshed out there for you on page 4 and page 5. The question is the Law Society of Kenya has filed a case in which, if upheld, would threaten the careers of MPs and shatter the ambitions of countless aspirants gunning for the country's high political offices in the 2027 general election. In the suit filed at the High Court by Advocate Wasonga Ouma on behalf of LSK, it said that the Law Society accuses 6 agencies of failing to enforce the Leadership and Integrity Act, as well as the Public Officers Ethics Act. That is what is here. And so now it's upon the courts to decide on what is going to happen next. If the prayers are granted by Justice Chacha Mwita, serving political leaders and tens of aspirants with criminal cases, including corruption, would be stopped from contesting. That is what I have here. The way things are run, in this case, the society accuses 6 agents of failing to enforce the Leadership and Integrity Act, as well as the Public Officer Ethics Act, which is a matter of concern. And again, that is on the front page. Again, the story that has been across the country right now and across the region is the mega dam project, the Grand Dam that was launched in Ethiopia. And it's one of the biggest infrastructure projects carried by Ethiopian government. President William Ruto actually toured the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam after it was launched yesterday. And it said that is one of the biggest of a kind in Africa. Raises questions why Kimorer and Aror, years down the line, have never seen the light of day. Okay, Kimorer and Aror, we remember the two dams? Yes. The question is why? And how counties will share out the 3.7 billion shillings roads levy cash. There is a way there. And details have now emerged of how counties shared the 3.7 billion shillings roads maintenance levy fund cash after a protracted battle with Parliament. And now, newly released data revealed that the counties own multi-billion shillings ambitions for their road networks would also be funded. Nakuru received the largest single allocation of 183.4 million shillings. Okay, so that is on the front page of this Star newspaper. Let me get back to the sports, which is, I think, is the most important again. Coach McCarthy praises Harambee Stars' reaction after 5-0 humiliation over Seychelles. Harambee Stars actually wounded the Gambia's 3-1 sting, rose from the ashes to dismantle the Indian Ocean archipelago. Head coach Benny McCarthy actually said that he praised his team for a ruthless display, while Seychelles coach Ralph Jean-Louis admitted that his young side was simply outclassed. Clearly. That is what is up. I mean, they did a good job. They did a very good job. Congratulations to Harambee Stars. Philomena, I don't know whether you're a fan of football. I have no idea. Are you?
I try.
But at least you can talk about Harambee Stars thrashing Seychelles 5-0 yesterday. I mean, after what happened in Chan, we were wounded out and at the quarters, and here Harambee Stars 5-0. That was unheard of. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. I'm a patriot.
Karibu sana.
So anytime I have an opportunity to support the Kenyan team, I go all in.
You go all out for
Absolutely.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
There is this story on the front page. First of all, how is Kenya doing? In your own perspective, how is Kenya doing?
I think we are doing pretty well. Let me start by saying good morning to the viewers.
Yes.
And good morning to you and to my fellow panelists. As a Kenyan, I feel like we are doing well. There are obviously challenges here and there.
Yep.
And around this time, when we are looking at the Kenya Kwanza scorecard on the past 3 years, as a parent, I want to remind myself how I always look at the report card when my son comes back after the long term. I usually look at the process of learning and what they were able to achieve as opposed to the result itself. So as we consider and as we look at the scorecard for the administration of Kenya Kwanza, I think if we look at the lessons that we have learned in the process and how the administration is handling the challenges and what wins it has been able to achieve, and some of the challenges like the insurgents, the civil unrest and all that, I believe that as a country, we are doing...
All right. We are doing well, according to you.
All right.
Yes.
But there's a lot of room
for us to
learn and do better.
She's an advocate of the High Court. Actually, it's good to mention that. She's an advocate of the High Court. Asante sana. And of course, Daniel Jumomondi is Africa Regional Representative of the Global Peace Foundation. The last time you were here, you were rushing out to fly out of the country. You had got so much engagement representing Kenya. You'll tell us about that and how it went. But how is Kenya doing that? Whenever you're out there, what is the talk about us out there? Wanasema aje about us?
Good morning, viewers.
Good morning.
Victor. Good morning, Philomena. So I was happy to represent Kenya in Korea, where we had a big event. I went with some members of parliament to celebrate Korea at 80. And yes, so the members of parliament I went with, including the MP for Nyeri, Madenge, and MP for Shinyalu, were able to actually, represent us quite well, and really portrayed a good image about our country.
Yes.
Yes. So I think Kenya is on the right path. Of course, with challenges, and no country is never without challenges. But just like Philomena said, we are on the right path, and we keep moving, and of course we can be better. We can do much better. There's no one who is always contented with where they are. We are always ambitious. Even when we achieve this, we want to achieve more. And so it's rightfully so. Kenyans, definitely want to achieve more. There's so much things we can do, especially our city of Nairobi. Honestly, if you walk in cities like Seoul, Korea, you see how they have really managed their waste management,
yes.
Road constructions, lightings, and all that. There is no reason why, we cannot even make sure that Nairobi itself, even the NCB itself, has proper, adequate lighting. Right now, there's security. There's a security issue. The last 1 week, I've been told that there have been problems in the CBD, and so these are issues that I'm hoping that the governor, can be able to, working with the government, can be able to sort out. But otherwise, we are very hopeful that within the next 2 years of this administration, I think we can be able to achieve, some of the things that they missed in the last 3 years.
Yes. Okay. Wakili, just before I bring in Peter, the question here on the front page is LSK has moved to court, and the story is on page 4 and 5. This is all about the integrity. Chapter 6 of Constitution, right? And it's all about the corruption and people who are implicated in the case. Apart from what this suit says is that the High Court, the society accuses 6 agencies of failing to enforce the Leadership and Integrity Act, as well as the Public Officer Ethics Act. And if they prayers, then it means that a lot of people will be barred from contesting in next general election. But this is not something so new. We have this constitution here, for years now, but we've seen some people who are accused and some people who have got active court cases going on, but they're still in office. This move by LSK, will it have any effect on the water?
Well, I wouldn't dismiss that move by LSK as just any other action that is taken. I think it's important for us to remember when we're talking about integrity and leadership, it's one of the things that it's actually, when we look at where the breakdown of, as we look at the breakdown of the issues that are affecting our country, it starts with the leaders that we elect. So when the body that is tasked with ensuring that we have proper candidates for this position, integrity-wise, I think at that point we should not give up on this fight. Because if we have leaders who have integrity, then we will not have so many challenges that we are having when it comes to delivery of services and growth of our country. So I think I completely back it up, and I hope that we'll be able to see something. It is very disheartening when we see people occupying these positions of leadership, and we know very well that these people have probably criminal cases that are ongoing. Some have so many matters that are in court. Corruption cases, which is also an economic crime. So it is important that we are very strict on the threshold for integrity for our leaders, because we cannot, as long as the cycle continues, the same complaints will continue arising from Kenyans, and we are the change that we want to see. So I hope and I pray that we have something good that comes out of that suit, because that is definitely a step in the right direction.
Okay,
yes,
great. So let me come back to the front page of this Daily Nation. This Daily Nation says that it's race against time, And of course, it also highlights what we're discussing this morning. It's the Kenya Kwanza administration 3 years on, and just taking stock on what the President Ruto scorecard has been. He came with so many promises to turn around the economy and so much more. Peter Mutuku Mutua, who is a governance and leadership expert. Good morning.
Good morning.
Wabukata mwana.
Nesamuno.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
I got it right?
You're trying. You're trying.
Out of 10?
No, out of 10, that is 7 out of 10, because you needed to put it in a manner that is soprano-ish. But in the basis, you know, you put some soprano.
I get it. I get it. But I tried.
No, very much.
I'll work on my soprano next time.
No, yeah.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
We are here talking about race against time. Of course, I think Daily Nation just got it right based on what we also don't discuss. But let me ask you, what's your overview of how Kenya is doing since 3 years later, leave alone what we've been discussing here for the last couple of months, but 3 years on, we've all been here since that day when the president took oath of office at Kasarani. That picture is still fresh in our minds, I bet.
It's still fresh in my mind.
Right.
Because fortunately, I was on that side of Kenya Kwanza. So I was following things at every stage, right even before Kasarani, Bomas and everywhere. And right from the manifesto stage, the campaign, the promises, and so on, and the vibe that we had at that time. And you remember when you invited me yesterday, and I looked at the discussion to do the scorecard 3 years down the line. You know, I took my time and asked myself some questions. It is a scorecard for 3 years against who and against what? Because you remember, we've experienced 2 disruptions in the last 3 years. The first disruption was last year during the Gen Z revolution, and as a result of that, there were some changes that were effected, that the changes were not internal. You see, when you are playing, for example, we hosted Chan last month, and when we are playing with a certain team, the team that we had, for example, in Kenya, then along the way, you find at some point we have introduced new players from another country or another team. By the time they get used or get to learn why this team was formed, because there's a reason why you pick 11 and you leave others, no matter how good they were.
Yes.
By the time they learn, there is some disruption. So I think to some extent, it will be unfair from my side to give a proper analysis of the situation after 3 years. Because the disruption that happened last year and the disruption that happened this year, they caused some slowdown. And, for example, let me put it this way. Last year, it reached a point like this month when there was the formation of broad-based. And this formation of broad-based, I don't know, Wakili, the prism of Wakili and my friend here, it meant introducing people who are different political culture to another one. So by the time they become one and start pulling the same direction, it takes time. So I would wish that we are given some more time to analyze these things, but as it now, I still feel there's some confusion. Let me give you a very good example here.
Can we do that after break?
If there is a break there.
Yes.
And then after break, they make sure we have the newspapers, yeah? I have my own here so that whatever you read, we read.
I'll take care of that. Yeah. Thank you.
Because you need to know what you are reading.
Let's take a break. We'll be right back. He said that he was the other side of Kenya Kwanza and he needs more time. But we need that time to take a break. See you guys.
wakita.
Congratulations Jina.
Huyu ni mtoto mdogo. Uongo. Nyamaza. Wewe kusema daktari anadanganya.
Vitu zote ziko under plan. Wale wageni tulikuwa tumewalika wameconfirm attendance.
Mabibi na mabwana, sogeni tuanze shughuli yetu. Na karibuni sana.
Amelewa tena.
Dadi aliacha pombe.
Familia ya shida tupu.
Nakupenda dadi, amka tuende.
Dadi akusikii.
Amenishika.
Wakita wengine wa
Greetings in the name of the Most High, Jah Rastafari. My good name is Marley Moses, the positive warrior, alongside...
Yes, sir, DJ D-Rage, the baddest. Each and every Wednesday from 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 TV.
Tunakuletea the biggest reggae party in 254 in a yard extra. Extra niceness of reggae music.
Extra dose of entertainment.
When the thing is nice,
we have to do it twice.
And welcome back. 3 years of President William Ruto's and Kenya Kwanza administration taking scorecard of what has happened 3 years on. Let me just come back with you. Peter, you are submitting something?
I was saying, truth be told, that where we started and how we started, along the way, the rules of engagement changed. And they changed when we introduced, in quotes, experts from the other side of a political ideology. Because you remember, Azimio and Kenya Kwanza, the reason why they were competing, because they had different political ideologies. So when you bring two different political ideologies, there is a slowdown, because you needed time to learn one another, to compromise and say this is the way we are going to approach things. For that reason, I would say so far so good in terms of considering the circumstances, considering the confusion. So far so good. So far so good. Yes.
Daniel, do you still hold the same idea? Because I still have so many questions when it comes to that, because administration is administration, and how many people came into government from the other side of Azimio you're talking about, vis-a-vis the entire cabinet, that would cause that confusion, that now you'd allege that is now causing the slowdown of development in the country? I'll come back to you. Just ponder about that, but we'll come back to you. Yes, Daniel.
Yeah, I tend to disagree because it depends on how you look at governance.
Yes.
And it's unfortunate. This country, how we have looked at elections is that, and this is where I think President Ruto, I think, got it right. I've always said that when you are elected president, at that moment, from that moment, you become the president of the whole country. So you have the responsibility, to govern, over all facets of the nation. And so also it gives you a free hand to appoint cabinet. The cabinet, you can appoint it from wherever, as long as the only qualification that you have is that someone has to be in the cabinet, is that they should be citizens of Kenya, and they should be qualified. And so when a president decides to appoint, and this is not the first president that has appointed members from the opposition, we have seen it, even the Kibaki administration, so when he decides to get experts, they're calling experts from whatever party, I think he has a free hand, and that also serves us, basically entrenches our belief that we are a constitutional democracy, that we believe that when time for politics is over, that we can move to governance. And you must also know that the president is also the symbol of national unity.
Yes.
And so at that time when he's been given that sword and is a head of state, from that point, he stops being the leader of the Kenya Kwanza, or his party, but becomes the leader of the nation. And that's one of the reasons why I supported this president when he was against, for example, the politicians who were talking about shares. They're saying shareholders that, this is our time to and the others should watch. And so I think the president did what I believe, and this is going to be one of his greatest legacies as he moves now to the next 2 years, that he has finally recognized that he's not just the president of his party or of his region, but he's the president of the whole country. And so that's why I disagree with him. And I believe that that these experts, whoever they are, they call him experts, I think, they can learn quickly.
Yes.
They can be inducted into the Kenya Kwanza plan, which I believe they have, and they can be able to work with the government to deliver on the promises.
Okay. Philomena, the Kenya Kwanza administration had plenty of plans. It's good enough that Peter is here, and during the formation of that government, you had town hall meetings across the country. You used to call it, there's another name. It was called not a town hall meetings.
Economic empowerment.
No.
Forums.
Forums, exactly. Yes. But then now, you took minutes and memoranda from each and every county and every region that you went to. Do you think the Kenya Kwanza has achieved so far, 3 years on, and you're saying that you still need more time? That's question number 2. Remember the other one?
Remind me the other one?
Okay, I'll remind you. Let me come back to Philomena. Do you think Kenya Kwanza, based on, start with the housing, 250,000 housing project infrastructure, creating more jobs, the superhighway, about the digital superhighway, etc., human rights. Where have we made it in terms of, in a scale of 1 to 10, not even 100, scale of 1 to 10?
Maybe also to answer that and give my rate on that scorecard, there's something that my dad, Mr. Gatasha in Gatondo says. He says that history repeats itself, or rather history rhymes. If we go back, and I'm a student of history, if we go back in time, we'll be able to see times where we have had global economic repressions and issues surrounding civil unrest and all these other issues, including the seemingly issues when you see the government is slowly sliding into authoritarianism. The government has made its promises, and when I feel a bit disheartened, I always put the clip where the president was inaugurated, and I listen to that speech, and I hear the vision that he had for the country, and I think he's a visionary leader. However, behind the systems that are supposed also, with him heading us, behind the systems that are supposed to push that vision, there are also human beings like me and you and any other person who can also compromise, or rather give, who have also their own personal shortcomings. In my opinion, given the circumstances and taking a look back at what has happened initially in the world, the government has tried and continues to try. And we have some issues that we can handpick, and we can actually say that this is a win for the government, much as there are some issues that have arisen in those projects. So for me, I would want us to either learn from history, because if we ignore history and what has happened in the past, we are likely to slide into authoritarianism.
Yes.
If we learn from it, then we are able to the government is able to build trust, to come up with ways of enabling Kenyans and ensuring that they are able to feel the economic growth in a positive way. So for me, I will fairly give them 7 out of 10.
Let's talk about the human rights. Let's pick this and run with it for a moment. We've had cases of, for example, the Gen Z and all that, the cases of forced disappearances, extrajudicial killings and all that. The president during his time said that he was going to end that. For a couple of months now, that has reduced. But in the past, we saw that number going up. Until now, the LSK, you know, the legal fraternity actually were quite active defending people left, right, and center. I want you to take us through some of the issues when it comes to human rights. Have we hit the mark?
It's unfortunate that at this day and time, we have not hit the mark. It's very unfortunate that the sacredness of life seems to be taken for granted by the very institutions that need to uphold the need to protect the human life. I think we need serious and bold reforms that will be able to tackle the issue of police brutality and excess forces and the police abuse, because you know, once a life is lost, it's lost, and you can't reclaim it, you can't get it back. And once, when you look at those people at the hospitals and they are maimed, what will their lives amount to after that?
Yeah.
So I do not understand why at this day and age, when we have so much information and knowledge on human rights, people, and especially those that we trust with protecting the lives of the Kenyans, will take away lives. It is a spirited fight that we will continue to put up until we are able to protect the civil rights, we are able to protect the human rights, because we're in a space where the democracy is growing. And in that space, we expect that there's going to be quote-unquote insurgents. People are going to protest for their rights, and it's well within their rights. People are going to disagree, and that is the voice of dissent. So when, again, we go back to learning from history, if we are able to not slide into authoritarianism, then we are able to actually grow this, we are able to take advantage of this situation and grow our democracy, so that we are able to, again, even on issues of civic education, understand the best ways to put our voices in the resistance. And the government is able also to appreciate what the people are saying. Because at the end of the day, the reason today we are talking about a scorecard is because we gave them a job and we are their employers, and they owe us the duty to come and tell us, you said you will do this, you haven't done it, why?
Why?
Yes.
Question is, Daniel, I know if you want to compare ourselves with other countries, we are far way better when it comes to human rights. But we can still also come back home and ask ourselves, yes, we have a very good constitution, but at some point tunakimbia outside the line, and the referee will call us back like, hey, you know, that's not the way to go. And yet we have it. But when you compare ourselves with other jurisdictions, we are far much ahead of the pack.
Absolutely. In Kenya, in terms of human rights, of course, we score better than many countries in the region, and of course, other countries worldwide. But we have to know that usually, you know, there are always attempts. You know, our civil liberties, our civil liberty is fragile, and you know, there must be vigilance, you know, from the citizens. You know, all the time, if you drop the vigilance, then governments, and not just this administration, we have seen that previous governments, we have personalities in the government that always attempt, you know, to abuse human rights, basically to try and safeguard, of course, their existence. Yeah, but one of the things that I must say is that we we have a problem, of course, within the police system, and then we have seen that the way the police handled demonstrations was not very mature. And I am hoping that they keep on learning. And usually when I do this, I don't put this thing at the heart of the president, because the president is given a job. But even within the nation, the president is doing his job, but everyone has to do their job. You know, they have separation of powers, for example. The police must do their job. They must police with integrity. They must know that they are policing not for the state, but for the people. They have a role and responsibility to protect the people and the property of the Republic of Kenya. But usually, when we have some of the police, when they are there, they have this misguided belief that their job is to protect just the state, you know, and this is where I think they go wrong. And so I must appreciate the citizens. The citizens have been vigilant, and it's very, very sad that within these 3 years of this administration, of course, we had the Gen Z uprising last year, and we saw so many young people dying. And also, Victor, you must see also that it's not just a problem here. Like she said, you know, these are things that are happening everywhere. You saw what's going on in Nepal last night. You know, within a very short time, you know, the Prime Minister was, you know, resigned, and Parliament was, you know, usually as Global Peace Foundation, we do not encourage violence. We say that the citizens have a right to protest, but do it peacefully. We believe in non-violent means of getting things done. And these things have been done before. Martin Luther King, you know, we have seen, you know, even South Africa, India, you know. So I always believe that we can be able to protect human rights, you know, provide vigilance, you know, peacefully. And one thing I must also give to this administration is that they have been learning very well. When the Gen Zs went to the streets last year, the president gave in. You know, he stopped the finance bill. To his credit, he stopped the finance bill. He fired the cabinet. He invited the Gen Zs to come to the table. By that time, the Gen Zs said, we are leaderless, and so no one could come to the table. And then it gave, you know, this leeway to these so-called experts to creep into administration. And so that is basically what happened. But I believe that in terms of human rights, of course, you know, during the Uhuru administration, we had problem with the River Yala, people being found in River Yala. Of course, we have had problem with abductions after the Gen Z revolution, and the president said he would stop them. I have seen a decrease in that, and I'm hoping that that is not going to, we are actually going to, this is something we can never tolerate. The only freedom we have is, as a people, the freedom that they enjoy, even when they don't have jobs, is a freedom of expression, the freedom of conscience. So if you take away that, then you have taken away everything from Wanjiku.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to take a break. And the most important thing, again, we want to talk about is education, because you've seen a lot of education sector players and so much more. Peter, don't worry, I'll come back to you. Education, which is very important.
You stay with me here.
Yeah. We are still here. And that's the point I want to...
When you come back, you stay with me here.
I'll be here. And I also bring in Akelo Misori to help us talk about better to the education as well. I'll talk about the scorecard of Kenya Kwanza administration. Please stay with us. Don't go away.
Are you a talented artist? Or are you passionate about a topic you want to discuss? But money can be very hard to find for an upcoming artist. Don't worry, Studio Mashinani has got your back. Sign up on ajira.co.ke to book a session with our music and video producers across the country. Work on your music, jingles, spoken words, and even podcasts to realize your dream. All for free. Studio Mashinani, Radani Talent.
Wanafunzi mupo?
Sisi ni wa kesho taa. Msituzime jamaa. Aina ya kwanza ya goma ni ile ya dudu 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 dudu. Hiyo. Aina ya pili ya goma ni ile ya Kefi na amefuja TV. Baba yake akakuja akamuuliza kaiwe na goma.
Wazazi wanapaswa kufuatilia video ambazo watoto wao wanaona katika interneti wakitumia vyombo vya vidijitali.
Hapo ndipo mimi napinga jambo lake kwa sababu vijana wanapata faida nyingi kuliko hatari.
Kanusha, sisi ndisi wanafunzi.
Sisi si wanafunzi.
Caleb umekosea kidogo.
We live in la vida loca, tunapiga sherehe nika tunapiga mboka.
Kufanya kazi hapa. Nini? Sikia, mama wake utii yuko, Fatie pia yuko. Mweni kwanza ndo nataka aje.
Yaani nitakuwa na mabibi wangapi mimi?
4. Usijaribu kunijibu hivyo. Wafikiri ni shida yangu ilikuleta hapa ni shida yako.
Leo zani leo.
Tu ningoje nimalize nitakuja huko niende.
Hata nipi wakati basi kazungumza na bibi yangu.
Mzee Mombasa. Today no eat. Mzee Mombasa ndio upika.
Welcome back. The scorecard continues, and here we are just taking stock of what has been happening in the Kenya Kwanza administration 3 years on. Peter, before we continue, let's welcome Mwalimu Akilo Misori, who is the Secretary General of KUPPET. He's not a stranger in Jerusalem. Mwalimu, karibu.
Thank you so much.
Karibu sana. Asante sana. Nairobi can be tricky. We understand.
That's true.
That's true.
Yes.
But we are here. We are here.
Yeah.
Karibu sana. So before I come to you, let me talk to Peter. I ask you a question, whether we've hit the mark 3 years since, because you are fortunate enough that you are part of that team. Are you still part of that team? Just to clarify. Are you still part of the team?
I am part of that team 100%.
Okay.
Let me tell you, you've said Nairobi is tricky. It's not tricky. You know, I don't sit here and you tell the public that Nairobi is tricky when I work for Nairobi County and there is order. And as a result of that order, I was here 10 minutes to time. Probably because Mwalimu here has so many responsibilities. While he wanted to be here on time, some of the members of his KUPPET association needed his attention. And as a result of that, he delayed, but not Nairobi being tricky. Now, yeah, Nairobi is not tricky. You know, this is a big man. Now, I told you, you have asked me a very interesting
question. Peter, I hear you. Okay.
I said I didn't want to be associated with the current regime right from onset. I would not have announced that I was part of it. I am part of it until 2027 when we go for election. But the truth be told, in chemistry, there is when you're making a chemical, process and you want to produce a certain drug, there are percentages that are considered that they do not interfere with the main element of every drug. For example, Panadol. I'm not marketing Panadol. Let me say paracetamol. There is a reason where you consider the percentages of different elements. Now, when you change the percentages, for example, when I say there was slowdown in last year and slowdown this year, which was caused by the disruptions and distractions, remember when they were introduced people from different political ideology, as in Kenya, and now they joined Kenya Kwanza, I looked at the percentages which was introduced, and that percent of the cabinet from the other side is not a small percentage. I wish it was only less than 10%, destruction would not have occurred. But 30% of new element must bring some meaningful change or disruption. So for me to say that as Kenya Kwanza, we have performed like this one, it is not as we wished. We would be far today in terms of the number of houses, in terms of healthcare, in terms of road infrastructure, because we are the ones who pronounced ourselves that we are going to stop abductions. So when you see some things that are happening now, even 1 year after broad-based government, formation of broad-based government, then it tells you probably the disruption and the fact that we are not on the lane that we were initially could have been as a result of the 30%. I stand to be corrected, and that's my opinion.
That is
my observation.
I stand to correct you that, but with questions. So you say
kindly ask
the quote-unquote, the experts cause disruptions and the slowdown on everything that you're seeing the government, according to you?
It is natural, and for lack of a better word, it's common sense. You have a home, don't you? Mm-hmm. If I came with my 3 children to your home, will there be no disruption? Even if we are coming to eat reg, just under normal circumstances. So we have invited us, my family 3, we have a family of 10 children. You have a family of 3 children.
What have they caused to slow down the construction of the 250,000 houses per year?
The disruption is natural. That people have to agree. Yeah. People are marrying different ideologies. By the time they come now with one focus, one agenda, united and pulling in the same direction. And remember, I had my friend, the guy in charge of on my Daniel, yes, that he disagreed with me. It was not necessary to disagree with me, but to give his different opinion. The thing is, regimes are formed by different people, and they are formed by people with certain political ideologies. So you cannot separate Kenya Kwanza and the ideologies that we had and the president and say,
has it changed? Has it changed?
And tell us.
Has it changed?
And tell us.
No, has it changed? The ideologies? The ideologies has it changed?
No, we have invited people. I don't know what they are. Whether if there's something that is called, maybe you don't know. Let me bring you to speed. We have a broad-based government.
Yes.
So when we have a broad-based government, then it negates the original idea of Kenya Kwanza government and Kenya Kwanza regime. So this one, at the end of the day, it's not going to be Kenya Kwanza. It is going to be broad-based government.
Okay. I think it's also fair to bring in Walimu. Walimu, good morning once again.
Good morning.
You've not disrupted anything. You've not disrupted anything. Let's just do it the way we know. Again, we're still talking about the issue of human rights. We'll come back to education later on. All of us are feeling the pinch in one way or another. But talk about human rights, which is a part of our discussion here. Where are we when it comes to the respect to human rights? I know, again, as I said, we are doing way better than other countries across the globe. But we still have got so many dotted ends to fix.
Thank you so much for allowing me to join this debate at this particular time. I think when you talk about human rights, you cannot talk about it that we are doing better than any other, because it means that when you butcher each other, when people are killed, and when the police shoot citizens, and it is not in the magnitude that it occurs elsewhere, then you cannot say, you can just say that our indicators as that we are not performing very well, but not to compare it with what happens in another home.
I stand guided.
In my understanding, in terms of human rights, we are not doing so well. We are not doing so well in the sense that institutions which are supposed to safeguard the rights of citizens, where citizens can feel secure, have become the institutions which undermine or compromise the quality of the rights that we are supposed to enjoy, especially the right to life and the right to enjoy certain rights which are basically process-based. Like, for example, if we are demonstrating in the streets,
yes,
and we are peaceful, there's no need for the police, whose work is supposed to safeguard my interests and to cover my me during the period, turns out to be the enemy on the street. So that one is an indicator that we are not doing so well when it comes to rights. At the same time, when it comes to politics itself, the politicians have positioned themselves to the extent that they seem not to understand what they are supposed to be safeguarding. For example, when you talk about a member of parliament talks in a public rally and says that you should have done it this way, you should have shot to kill. That is a public a person who is supposed to legislate on how my rights are supposed to be protected. That person goes to a public rally and makes such a pronouncement. It means that it is there in word, but in practice we are doing things which are not in conformity with what we classified as enjoyment of rights. For example, when you are expected to, a person has been arrested by police,
yes,
and it is known that this police officer is the one who was arrested, then the person ends up maimed in the police cell or dies in the hands of the police. Then it means that we have gone so low such that the rights that we are supposed to have enjoyed are not there. However, on this space where I am enjoying my rights to go my own business, it has been allowed. I think we are living in an era where we have got the right to say anything about anybody. In fact, in that, we have even gone to excess as citizens, that we don't even safeguard the right of others of even privacy, the right of others also to enjoy their cool as leaders, because we find that we have misused the platform of social media to the extent that it is being abused. Instead of being used to do better things for our human development, we instead create acrimony and all the like.
Okay.
So in that case, I think the right issue will still be open for wider debate.
All right. Yeah. Open to wider debate. Philomena, you've heard what he said, because again, we can go overboard.
Oh, yeah.
When the freedom is there, we tend to abuse it so much. But then again, that also calls for the relevant bodies to keep checks and balances on wananchi, because, you know, the Constitution, again, is quite open for all of us. But who is supposed to take care of that Constitution? You and I. That calls for the aspect of the civic duty. Do people really understand what the Constitution is all about and the limits of the freedom when it comes to human rights?
To a very large extent, people are more aware about their freedoms and rights, more than maybe it was initially. However, I feel like we still have a lot of civic education to offer to the Kenyans, because as it has been mentioned, I should not enjoy my right so much that I start infringing on yours. In putting the political class on accountability, we should not infringe their privacy. Yes, they also have that right, because we are all enjoying these rights. They have rights to privacy, and we should not infringe on those. You have seen the extent to which quote-unquote enjoyment of rights has been pushed, such that you'll find Kenyans on social media celebrating when death has befallen the politician's family. especially very close losses to them, like their children and all that, it turns to be a fanfare or a celebration. I think we should, there's something that we are always told, anytime you react emotionally to something, especially in anger, you're more likely than not to create a bigger problem. Every time we want to enjoy our freedoms of putting the government on its toes, and we put therein a lot of rage, a lot of anger, then we somewhat, to some degree, we'll miss the point. So I feel like it's a conversation that needs to continue on issues to do with enjoyment of rights and freedoms. And the Kenyan Constitution is in very plain English language. It's something that can be understood and explained to so many people in very different levels. At school, I remember when I was in primary school, I started picking interest in civic. At that time, we were doing GHC, so there was the geography, there was the history, and there was the civic. I started picking a very serious interest in civic, understanding about how the country is structured and all that, and understanding my rights, not understanding, just being able to memorize them, because it's with time that I've been able to understand. So I think that it's a conversation that needs to continue, because there are people who are also in high levels of governance or something, and they don't seem to understand where their freedoms end. Because when you stand and you have the social responsibility to influence a group or the country, and you make proclamations like they should have been killed, the police are not doing enough, you know. It is very worrisome.
But then that goes back to the judiciary. Has judiciary... Exactly, go ahead.
Has judiciary
come to the line when it's come to human rights, the protection of human rights? How have you performed?
I feel like we are trying, because there are relevant bodies within that arm of the government that are able to pick the issues of abuse of human rights and prosecute them in court, or rather raise alarm on how some issues are being handled and how they are being tackled.
I want to come to Daniel. Randomly, looking back, what can you say that this government has achieved, the hit and misses? In your own way. But the most important one, I'll come back to education.
Good. In my own way, I think the government, the Ruto administration has done well in terms of housing. Housing, affordable housing, of course, was controversial when he promised it. And also, it was also in the Azimio manifesto. And so, for him to have been able to convince Kenyans to buy into it, because the leader, one of the most important values of a leader is you need to convince the people to believe in your manifesto. So by President Ruto convincing Kenyans to chip in the housing policy, of course I've seen people who are against it, but then the fact that the housing, affordable housing is going on, I think that is going to be one of his most important legacies. This president has also, of course, when he came in, of course, the price of unga was very high, but he has been able to stabilize the price of unga. The price of unga actually came down. I don't know how much it is right now in this moment, but it actually came down to the level that it was predicted. Also, when he came in, we had fuel was actually very, very high, and he was able to actually stabilize that. Inflation was high, and of course, remember when the deputy president was talking during inauguration, he said there was no money. He said there's no money in the coffers, and of course, he also inherited a lot of debts from the previous administration. You know, a lot of debt from SGR, from what. So, actually, if you talk to the people in the administration, they're saying the government was in red. There's some people who said that they didn't expect the government to last another 6 hours. I heard it's being said 6 months. But this president has been able to actually stabilize the economy, you know, and so Kenya is still a going concern as a result of what he has been able to do. So, and also as I told you earlier on, the fact that he has risen above political entities and has been able to bring even the opposition, you know, into government, to feel like they're part of government. So in terms of national unity, I think he has scored big. And for those who complain that the broad-based government came in, you know, for me, I'd really want to, because if this president was left alone with the Kenya Kwanza, right now, with what you see the deputy president doing, right now, the president would probably have been impeached because then Kenya Kwanza itself, within itself, it had issues. So by him, you know, reaching out, you know, to the other side and bringing them into his government, he has been able to balance. So right now, you cannot impeach him. You know, he's able to manage. You know, and
he enjoys some full protection.
And it's a good, it's a political skill that this president have. All right. And it will serve him very well as he goes into the next election.
Mwalimu, in your own perspective, where are we 3 years on?
We are still at crossroads because there are so many things which have not been fixed, in my view. But I think where we are stabilizing because already people are now talking to each other. We are not talking at each other. In politics, the political environment is still very murky. But given the operating environment as it is, I think this government has done its best under the circumstances. For example, you know, like me, although you have asked me to come later to discuss education, but that is the area where I enjoy a lot.
Yes.
For the first time in the history of this country, within 3 years, we have had the employment of over 80,000 teachers within 3 years. That is unprecedented. It has never happened. We have had occasions where teachers, when they were employed, I think what was only 2011 during Kibaki's administration, where we had to go on strike for those who had been engaged on contract, 18,060 to be engaged. And now subsequent years followed, and we were only getting a maximum of 5,000 teachers being employed, both primary and secondary school.
80,000 employed on what terms? PNP?
On permanent and pensionable.
Okay.
In fact, now we are waiting. There's a group which is waiting to be formalized on permanent and pensionable, which is about 20,000. And there's also another promise of another 24,000 who are on the waiting. That one was in the wish list, that out of the 116,000 that they promised to employ within 3 years, already we have had 80,000. That is something which is laudable. In the same education, we have also had issues related to capitation to schools, reduction of money which is being capitated to schools. But on employment, it is there. On the other issue, we as teachers, we still find that we are not very comfortable, because as much as the tax has been increased, our pay continue to be low. So you can still find that we have got a disquiet in the education sector. But another issue which is not very stable is how we are managing the transition from the old system to the current system. That we had chosen the path of developing pathways in senior school, which is coming next year. But the preparation bit of it in grade 7, grade 8, and grade 9 has been very haphazard. The foundation is not very well grounded on quality, and therefore that is an area which is there for another conversation. That policy need to be developed so that we have got a very smooth transition, and therefore we now don't count on numbers and so on. But remember, when the government has also continued to listen to the public, and especially to the public outcry, especially on when there was the funding model on university education was very controversial.
Yeah.
The president and the administration came up with another solution where they decreased this university fee between 15 and 40%. That means that now there's room for those who are discontinued from going to college and finishing the education to go back and maybe find a leverage. So with me, I think there has been a lot. And as my brother said, although it is a concept which so many people are disputing, but for us who have traveled far and wide, the greatest thought that this country is developing is this housing thing. Housing. It is what will ease the burden of the farmland, because we are likely to start thinking about living in urban centers and giving room for space for people to grow crops to eat. Yeah. So that is something which is good. Another thing, when I go home, for the first time in the history of my life, a power line has passed just next to my house and I've connected it to my house. So I have electricity.
How are you surviving all those years?
That's what I wanted to announce to you. Imagine a general secretary of Kupet is surviving on Nyangile thing.
Nyangile is that tin lamp.
And now I'm connected to the grid. Yes. That means that this government is not doing very badly. But also besides that, Pure Wanda has done magic. So when my brother is saying that we are causing disruption, you can see how that disruption has really benefited. And there's a road which has also passed just next to my house and connecting the tarmac road to Kisumu and my home. That is disruption, which is very positive. So I think
you need to take back your word. He saved us all. The disruption is beneficial.
He said positive disruption. So he's agreeing that my argument is right, but he's putting some more sense by saying positive. When something is positive, you don't take it back.
Very good. Yes, of course. Take it away. What's your submission?
There's so many things that have happened in this nation, and some have not happened. But the most important that I keep on enjoying is freedom of expression. I've been this station a number of times.
Yes.
I've been given freedom to speak as I wish. I've listened in the streets of this city. One thing that will be remembered that this regime achieved is allowing people to express themselves. However, to some extent, it became abusive. But remember, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Ruto, behaved as a father, even when he was insulted. We've never had in any history of this country or anywhere in Africa, a president concedes under the pressure of the agencies. Because when he went to State House, the word that he used, I concede, a president conceding. So this one tells you that the freedom of expression in this nation has grown to levels that have never been seen before. Other things may not work. The housing may not be sufficient. We may not have all the people having the privilege of being connected to the grid like him. And we may not have all the people in this nation having the privilege of having good roads. But the most important is the freedom of expression, because from freedom of expression, you will gather the expressions, and it's from those expressions that will inform policies.
Yes. Let me interject into that.
Go ahead.
The freedom that he's talking about was actually ushered in during the Kibaki regime. You remember during the Moi regime, we didn't have so much freedom. do what we want. But when the Kibaki regime came in and the new constitution was ushered in, then Kenya was free. Kenya was free to speak. There was an unprecedented civil liberty, that was ushered in at that time. And this freedom has been, even during the Uhuru regime, during the Uhuru administration. We could see even when this president was the deputy president, he had freedom to campaign and oppose President Uhuru, and nothing happened to him. So this freedom that he's talking about, of course, it is, I don't want to say that this government has allowed us. No, freedoms are God-given. These are God-given rights. Freedom of speech, these are God-given rights. Government does not give you freedoms. Government's work is to entrench those freedoms, to ensure that the citizens allow those God-given freedoms. Yeah. So when you give a government, even you make a government think that it can allow you, it doesn't give you freedom. These are God-given rights. So the citizens just need to take those rights and exercise them. So I congratulate, of course, the president for continuing to appreciate that this is a constitutional democracy and that we have these God-given freedoms and that power belongs to the people. And that he is leading on behalf of the people. And I agree with him when he says that this president, of course, conceded. Why did he concede? Because this president is the president who listens to the people. If it was another president, most likely the cabinet would not have been, the cabinet would not have gone. But this president listened and he said, I'm listening to you. He called them. Come, let us talk. So one of the achievements of this president, one of the values that I love about this president is that he is able to listen. He's able to, he's able to basically strike a win-win and also reach towards the other side. Yes. So I needed to talk about that.
Just a little bit. We have a constitution in this nation, and the constitution says that Kenya is a secular state. And in that constitution, chapter 4, it stipulates the rights, and under the rights is freedom of expression. So when I meant we are about the scorecard of this government. So I'm saying at the end of this regime, 2027, what remains important is that freedom that we were allowed by the head of state to express ourselves, and more so, even come to KBC, it was an add-off that KBC, a state-owned station, that Missouri would have spoken the way he spoke initially, and everybody here spoke the way they spoke with freedom. And these ones we cannot look, the scorecard is not between 2010 and now. It is between 2022 and now. And the president has done good to give us, the scorecard is about what? It's this regime.
So does it mean that we didn't have that freedom?
We never. At that
3 years ago?
No, we did.
We can argue for 1,000 years. And the point is, we've never had, unless we had taken some break, we've never had in this nation, children, let me put that in quotes. Forgive me if you feel offended by addressing as children, wherever you are, calling a president a certain name. And going to the extent, because they have some evil genius of drawing people and putting them in a casket, and we moved on as if nothing had happened. There were no arrests as a result of that. There were you see.
Wakili is here.
No, Wakili, give time Wakili. No, unless you are an advocate. Let me finish my submission.
You want to tell me that no arrests were made because of that? Some are in court.
There were arrests, but not connected to the freedom of expression of that magnitude. The Wakili will defend that. It's my opinion. And I'm entitled to my opinion.
It's fine. It's fine. We are also entitled to challenge you.
But I think there's something which my friend must also listen to, is that you don't bring your opinion even on issues of facts. Because if he's interpreting the facts, then that is a different thing. Then he should just say that we should not be involved in this discussion together. What I
it's
felt,
okay, over to you.
What I felt it should be included in this scorecard is the ineffectiveness of our other institutions, like one of them being parliament, because parliamentarians are state officers. But you can see at some stage the parliament itself and
now that goes to governance now.
Yeah, the president have talked at cross purpose to the extent that we have seen that something was amiss, and that one now introduces to us that during this period, in the last 3 years, we have seen uncontrolled corruption in government. So that one is a rotten egg in the face of this government that it has to deal with on a serious note. Because the main institution of parliament has been attacked for being corrupt, and they have also passed the same baton to the president that if you are corrupt, then who is more corrupt? So that is something which we have to deal with. But it also goes ahead to explain the level of freedoms and liberties that we also enjoy in this country. That at least there are certain times when now we can talk about corruption, even in State House. That the State House can single-handedly pinpoint at KBC that KBC, you have to sit properly. So that is something which is very positive.
I agree with that.
Yes.
Katata, want to say something? She's really willing to speak.
Yes. Please allow me to weigh in on the issue of the freedoms. In my understanding, because we've been cautioned not to give opinions in matters facts, in my understanding, the freedoms that we now enjoy or abuse were the very freedoms that our forefathers fought for. Because as we look at the history of our country, we have moved in different spaces of enjoyment of rights, and we can always credit first the forefathers who came and fought and shed their blood for the freedoms we enjoy now. It is for us now to, on the question of what the young generation has been seen to do, the use of certain names that does not promote a very good space to, you understand what I'm saying? The use of those names that they've been using. Around that time of the protest, I sat and thought, no one actually knows what it means to be the president, because no one has been put in a position that he was in at the time. And around this time when we are doing this scorecard for the administration, it's a good moment for us to also speak to the Kenyans so that they can be receptive to see some of the wins with the government. Because when you have an option to look at a positive thing or negative and you choose to look at the negative, you will not give credit for the good things. So if we can be very open-minded to laud the government for the positive wins and to continue keeping them on toes, for example, on issues corruption, then we will be able to move well. And also, I take this opportunity to also talk to the political class who sometimes throw in some very ethnic, divisive sentiments out there. They're in positions where they're able to influence social relations and how people think and act. That is not what we need as a country. Moving forward, let us not go into those very polarized political spaces, because they won't do us.
They won't do us any justice. Okay. I want to treat that as your closing remark. Moving forward, you started it.
Yes.
Daniel, moving forward.
Just a second, please. Allow me, please, to condole with the family of my senior, Chalo Mbombo. It was a very unfortunate incident. I think it sent shockwaves around the country. Again, security issues it's one thing. Yes, so
we leave it to the security officers and of course to investigate that issue.
Yes,
it was quite unfortunate yesterday.
Yes, absolutely.
Our Kili with so many years of experience in the legal fraternity.
Yes.
Absolutely. All right, Daniel, moving forward.
So moving forward, I once again want to congratulate this administration for the 3 years. It hasn't been easy. We saw, of course, with the disruption that you spoke about, especially last year during the Gen Z uprising. The president, in his wisdom, managed it very well. Of course, we had people dying, and and I'm sure that I'm aware that this president has also taken action, also to be able to compensate those who were killed, not just during these demonstrations last year, but also during even the previous regimes.
Yes.
So this is a president who knows. He has accepted that sometimes government has been overreaching, but and again, the fact that he has put in place a commission to ensure that those who suffered all those abuses by police are compensated, I think is a good thing. So moving forward, the president should know that he has been elected there, and he's there to serve the people. And he is the utmost defender of civil liberty. So let him continue, protecting the civil liberty, which are basically the freedoms that are given and rights that protect, Kenyans.
Thank you.
And I think as he does that, I think Kenyans will make a decision whether, they want to renew his contract or not at the end of this current term. Thank you.
Asante. I'll come back to you, Mwalimu, shortly. There's this question of there's some reprieve for teachers after the court said scrapping of the hardship allowance to be put on hold a bit. That's some good news to teachers. Hardship allowance.
The hardship allowance was not supposed even to be touched.
Yeah.
Because it was a function of a court judgment and a consent in that matter. Because in our collective bargaining agreement, we have always had what we call ring fencing the gains that we have had in the past.
Okay.
So whoever was going to touch it had to go to court to undo what had been agreed upon by the parties.
Moving forward?
Moving forward,
yes.
In my view, I think this is high time. So many people are against a proposal that the doyen of opposition and the former Prime Minister had indicated. We need to engage in constant dialogue, because this current generation we call Gen Zs and Millennials, these are people who are born at a time when this constitution was just being crafted, and therefore their interests may have not been taken into account in terms of their developmental stage in life. We did not know that time that AI was going to be a function of our space, but now it is with us here.
Thank you.
And we did not know that we are going to have these things like WhatsApp and so on. We already now have them.
Okay.
And therefore the country needs to engage in a national conversation which is intergenerational, so that we can assimilate the old ideas and the new ideas, so that people move together.
Thank you.
And then lastly, it is on the basis of the president being frank and bold, not to fear to undertake programs which will take this country to the next level.
Asante sana. Yeah. Okay. Will you just take 30 seconds? Because we've taken 3 minutes, which is quite illegal.
Our president,
and we talked about illegality and freedoms.
Our president, having learned from diverse organization and is now a champion of diversity, that he learned the first 2 years of Kenya Kwanza and the second year of broad-based, we can only give him better understanding and approaches to finish strong. And I wish that this regime finishes strong, because we have shown the world that we can manage diversity.
Very good. He will. The president will. I mean, there's no doubt about it. The instruments of power is here, the constitution is here, and he has that mandate to finish strong. All right, Peter Mutuku, asante sana. You said Nairobi is not tricky.
Peter Mutua.
Thank you. Nairobi is not tricky. Nairobi is
First
okay.
of all, it's Peter Mutuku Mutua.
Nairobi is not tricky.
I am not Peter Mutua Mutuku. I'm Peter Mutuku Mutua. Nairobi is a
He's the governance and leadership expert. A very difficult man to handle, but I know how to handle him. Thank you so much.
Dignity and hope.
Akilo Misoro, who is the Secretary General of Kupet, and Daniel Omondi, or Juma Omondi, who is the Global Africa Regional Representative of Global Peace Foundation, and Philomena Gatacha, who is advocate of the High Court. We've just taken a brief on what the Kenya Kwanza administration has been 3 years since taking over power in this country, and we'll continue this sometimes next week. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Victor Lo. Good morning. Bye-bye.
Congratulations Jina.
Huyu ni mtoto mdogo. Uongo. Jamaza, wewe kusoma daktari anadanganya.
Visit zote ziko under plan. Wale wageni tulikuwa tumewalika wameconfirm attendance.
Mabibi na mabwana, sogeeni tuanze shughuli yetu. Na karibuni sana.
Amelewa tena.
Dadi aliacha pombe.
Familia ya shida tupu.
Nakupenda dadi, amka tuende.
Dadi akusikii.
Amenishika.
Friday night again. Greetings in the name of the Most High Jah Rastafari. My good name is Marley Moses, the positive warrior, alongside.
Yes, sir, DJ D-Rage, the baddest. Each and every Wednesday from 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 TV.
Tunakuletea the biggest reggae party in 254 in a yard extra. Extra niceness of reggae music.
Extra dose of entertainment.
When the thing is nice,
we have to do it twice.
Wiki hii kwenye Mkulima tumejifunza jinsi ya kumfuga mbuzi wa kisasa wa maziwa na kisha jinsi ya kuhifadhi maziwa yake.
Ni biashara kama ingine. Ya pili, it's passion. Napenda ukulima, that's why. Ya tatu, after doing much research about goat milk, that's what motivated me more.
Ungana nasi Jumamosi saa 10:30 kwa mseto kamili wa kilimo hapa KBC Channel 1.
Congratulations Jina. Huyu ni mtoto mdogo. Uongo. Jamaza, wewe kusoma daktari anadanganya.
Visit zote ziko under plan. Wale wageni tulikuwa tumewalika wameconfirm attendance.
Mabibi na mabwana, sogeeni tuanze shughuli yetu. Na karibuni sana.
Amelewa tena.
Dadi aliacha pombe.
Familia ya shida tupu.
Nakupenda dadi, amka tuende.
Dadi akusikii.
Amenishika.
How can you do the human being to be a pregnant? Ulijuaje Owiti yuko na watoto ndani ya tumbo?
Mimi alijua baada ya wetu kuanguka
sanduku kabasuka na yeye akabasuka na watoto 3 wakatoka ndani yake.
Owiti, ni mama ama ni mwanaume?
Ni mwanaume.
And why did you kill Washington?
Baba.
Why? Yes.
I didn't kill him.
Don't deny, please.
Nikimuuliza na niambia bila alinielezea ati hiyo ni mimba alikuwa
nani?
Mwanaume.
Sasa hata swali lile
na ni marehemu.
Wewe uliniambia mnaongea nayo.
Okay, mimi kuna siri niliambiwa na Owiti. Na hiyo siri sitakwambia hata siku moja, hata ukilifanya namna gani.
Welcome back to Good Morning Kenya. My name is Mike Migu. This is still The Viewpoint, and we are focusing on change makers, people who are making an impact within the society. In studio, I'm joined by Felix Chengo, who is a director of Wezo College and also a published author. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Mike, for having me.
Yes. And today I want us to focus on 3 things: how fostering education, culture, and youth empowerment, given these are areas that you are big on. And also you are a published author. But before we even get to that, let us get just a feel of your journey.
Thank you, Mike, for that question. Like you have indicated, my name is Felix Chengo. I'm a family man, 5 children and a granddaughter. My education, I started way in the villages. I was born around Kibwezi, a particular village called Thange. I went to the local primary school, Thange. And then from there, after my class 7, those days, I was called to a high school in Embu, Siakago. I couldn't go because of school fees issues. I struggled for 1 year in a day school. And then later on, I heard that there was a seminary, because I'm a Catholic, based in Machakos, which was admitting young people who would like to become priests. So I applied. Unfortunately, they didn't have a Form 1. So after doing 1 year of day secondary school, I went and started Form 1 again. But probably that was the best decision that I ever made, because it gave me an opportunity to have to be in an environment where I had water, I had food, I had lighting, I had every facility of me study. So I did my Form 4 there, and I passed very well and went to Alliance High School for my A levels then. And from Alliance High School, I went to the University of Nairobi. During my academic days at the secondary school, both at the seminary in Machakos and at Alliance High School, I had lots of fee challenges, and I want to thank God because He sent along Destiny Helpers who helped to foot my fees, and therefore I was able to get through my education. Up to date, I don't know some of the people who paid for my A-level school fees, but through them, and through the grace of God, I was able to go to Alliance High School, complete my studies there, pass well, join Nairobi University, where I took a degree in BCom and finished, and then I pursued accounting. I'm a qualified accountant, CPAK. And then I got my first job with Coopers & Lybrand. Coopers & Lybrand is a legacy firm for PwC. They subsequently merged to become one firm, where I worked for 7 years in various positions and countries. Then after that, I left and joined MultiChoice, or what most people would call DSTV. I was their first African finance manager. I headed the finance department in MultiChoice for 12 years. And then thereafter, I interviewed and succeeded to become the first general manager for GoTV. GoTV was a company that MultiChoice Group used to migrate the country from analog signals to digital signals. In that time, we were a collaborator with government, and the KBC were already 40% shareholder in MultiChoice. We were working with them together with the CA, Communication Authority, to make sure that the country was able to migrate from analog to digital. So I was at the very center of that change from analog TV to DSTV, I mean to digital signals.
So your story is what you would say is grass to grace kind of a story.
Almost.
And it has informed you, informed your perspective when it comes to giving back to the community. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so after working for about 8 years at GoTV, at the helm of GoTV as first general manager, then I took early retirement and I decided to see what else I can do to impact society because of the fortune that God had given me from like you say, from grass to,
to grace.
Yeah. So I thought of youth empowerment. And then that's why I looked around and I saw every year there is about 500,000 and above, depending on which year you are talking about, of Form 4 leavers.
Yes.
Who end up not being able to qualify for university or other public colleges. And they end up sometimes almost helpless and hopeless with really no means to earn a dignified life.
Yeah.
So that's when I decided, why don't I, in my own small way, look at a way in which I can empower these people. And my principle was very simple. I realized the problem of youth unemployment, youth skills is very big. So I decided each one life I impact, that's already a milestone for me.
Yeah.
So I wasn't going to go for the numbers, but I was going to make sure that whatever I do to impact people was going to be impactful. So I coined a name for my college called Uwezo College, meaning giving ability to be able to do something. And then on top of that, I came up with a motto of beyond training. What beyond training is supposed to drive is the fact that, yes, you want to give a skill, you want to give a qualification, but over and above that, you want to produce an all-round person who is whose body, mind, and spirit are properly formed so that they can be a dependable, individual in society with a view to unlocking any potentials they might have. So I looked at that and I saw if we focus on that, on the individual, not just a certificate, but the whole being, then we might be impactful in that. And since then, we've establishing, Uwezo College in Machakos. We are now luckily celebrating 10 years of very excellent training and impacting skills to young people there.
So in terms of empowerment, this approach goes beyond the class.
Yes. Yes, it's going beyond the class. What we look at is, of course, we attract people from different backgrounds. And what we try to do is to combine, classroom work with practical field experience. Where possible, we also try to have linkages with industry so that we can place them to get practical experience. So we have got, in order to also guarantee quality of the certificate we give, we try to do exams with bodies that are well organized, bodies like NEC, bodies like NITA, bodies like ICM, bodies like CASNEB, and now recently with CBET, government focus on CBET, we are doing TVET CDAC, which is now aimed at giving skill, and it has a lot of aspects of, a period in class where you learn, the basics of the skill you are doing through competent-based, and then you have got a practical aspect in attachment, and then there's the ultimate final exam.
Still looking at education aspect, the empowerment of the young people and also minorities is a key pillar of having a very strong, what you'd say, civil society. From your perspective, how do you think education serves as a driving force, especially when it comes to dealing with issues of poverty eradication, especially in Kenya?
For me, the reason why I went to youth empowerment is because I believe education and the skill is actually an equalizer in society. I believe that, if you want to build a strong, society, you need to empower people and give them a means to earn a dignified livelihood. And when I say a dignified livelihood, I mean, if you give a young person, say a young man, a skill in, say, masonry or electrical or plumbing or any other field, that young person is going to be able to have a better future for himself and even to improve the life of the ones that he depends on. So our key objective is really to make sure that these skills we give help the young people to stay away from bad vices. If it's a lady, instead of going to bad things, then we give her a means to earn a dignified life, and therefore also be able to help her people, our children, our family, and all that. So at the end of it all, we are trying to make sure that these people find a way, a better way, a dignified way of getting, earning a livelihood. And what we try to emphasize mostly is, at the moment, there's a lot of belief in you train so that you get employed. We try to tell them, yes, we are training you, but we also train you as an employer.
Actually, that is what I was about to ask you, because the mentality that I'm going to school, I go to school to learn so that I can get a job. That is a mentality that you think needs to change.
That mentality needs to change. And I always, like, when I walk around in the hairdressing, salon in the college, I always tell the girls, and the boys, look, if you become very good at what you do, you never lack. Work will follow you.
Yes.
You can even live here and go to the village or at the estate you stay, and then you tell the children around there, come, I will make your hair today or your nails. You will make them for free for one day. The next time, they will come looking and they will want to pay something.
Yes.
So establishing a business sometimes does not even require a lot of capital. Okay, capital is important, but it's how perfect you make that skill. And what we aim at Uwezo College is to make sure that our training makes one a real professional in the sense that they can, what they have come to do, they can do it well. And that is something that I have a personal passion on, to ensure that anyone who comes to Uwezo College lives with a skill that is going to find them very marketable out there in the society, and therefore they will not necessarily need to be employed, but they will start work. If you are studying catering and hospitality, you can actually start making your own cakes and things in your house, and you start selling. So they become employers. So, and that is really the focus that we want to give them, because the whole dependency on going to get employed somewhere so that you can earn a livelihood sometimes can be depressing, because the opportunities, let's face it, are few.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So talk about the importance of skills and training as what you'd say a catalyst to empowering the youth.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think in the modern world, if you have learned just a theoretical, subjects, and I'm not trying to diminish any learning, because knowledge is good at whatever level. You find that if you have got a skill, you are better prepared for earning a dignified life. And I'll give you an example. The current world that we are in is going very digital. It's going AI, artificial intelligence. In that field, you will find that a lot of maybe the theoretical things, you can ask AI anything, and it will give you. But if you have learned a skill, like for example, if you are in the health sector or in technical sector or in whatever sector you are, there is going to be no way, the physical and the technical aspect of work is going to be eradicated by technological changes or digital changes like AI.
Yes.
So having a skill will guarantee you to have a better life. But what I keep insisting, you must perfect that skill.
Yes.
The world abhors mediocrity. If you don't take time to make sure that whatever you are learning, whatever it is, whatever skill, you perfect it, you are not likely to go it far.
Yes. So whatever skill you learn, learn it to perfection, perfect it, and run away with it.
And run away with it.
Yes. Yeah. You're also very big when it comes to, still on matters, youth empowerment. And giving back to the community, yes. But if for someone who would want to start in his or her small way of giving back to the community. What are the essentials of that, and also how prepared does one need to be to make a meaningful impact?
I would start by the words of the late Professor Wangari Maathai and the hummingbird.
Yes.
She told this story that this bird saw a forest burning, and with a small beak went, fetched some water, and poured it. And all the animals were laughing at it, saying, what impact will one drop of water have on this fire? I said, at least I'm doing something. The problem of, poverty is really in Kenya. So one of the things that was a big shock for me when I started Uwezo College in Machakos, now celebrating 10 years, was that I found a lot of youth wanted to get a skill, but they were unable because of school fees. The dropout rate is very high. So then I came up with this foundation called Uwezo Wetu Foundation. Uwezo Wetu Foundation, what it does is to mobilize from any well-wisher, somebody who wants to make a small impact, by gifting a young person a fishing rod. I say gifting a fishing rod because if you give somebody a fish or a bread, they'll eat for the day.
Yes.
But if you give them a skill, then they will eat that for life. So I started Uwezo Wetu Foundation so that if we get a little money from Uwezo College, we can support 1 or 2 students. Like I said, we are not big on big numbers.
Yes.
We believe in changing life one at a time. So if we impact one, we impact 2. If somebody else comes sees our point of view and comes and sponsors one child or another, that is a life transformed. And therefore, one does not need to have a lot of money to start these things. You just need to have the will and to understand the only true meaning of happiness. You find it when you have made someone else happy, when you've given somebody a hope, because there's a lot of hopelessness. So if in whatever small way you gift somebody a skill that will help them for the rest of their life, you have given that person hope, a reason to live. Yes.
So it's a person-centric kind of an approach.
It's person-centric kind of approach. Yes.
Indeed. Now, in today's world, youths have different organizations that they are in, and some of them are youth-led. So my question here is, how can they be better supported to ensure that they can participate meaningfully and contribute to the economic sustainability of the country?
There are many ways in which the youth can be organized so that they are able to to contribute to society. Of course, one of the ways is through the cooperatives. In this country, the cooperatives have been a very big thing, in terms of mobilizing resources, in terms of people being able to guarantee one another for a trade. So already that is happening very well, even at the lowest level. I mean, even at all levels, like you find it, borders have cooperatives, matatus have cooperatives, and all those are, they are youth. Others are Juakali artisans. Young people can come together, and through a group, they can easily access capital that will be able to help them develop, their industries. So the key thing is, first of all, yes, you can work as an individual, but if it is possible, get into a group, because there are many organizations, including government organizations, who are willing to fund, young people. If, for example, and they can organize them according to maybe their area of skill. For example, you can come together and start maybe an IT hub, innovation hub, where you are trying to come up with software programs and things like that. You can come up with, an industrial activity where you are trying to produce something in an innovative way. And that way, once you have the idea and it looks sellable and it's attractive and it looks serious, funders will look for you. There's money there, but real serious people who are committed to doing things well and who have integrity sometimes are lacking. Some of the youth today, one of the biggest challenges is that they need to demonstrate that when they get this money, they are going to put it into proper use and not just spend it on entertainment. So that sense of seriousness in youth, sense of wanting to advance themselves, sense of not instant gratification, but wanting to look at things that will guarantee a better tomorrow. I think that is one of the core things that youth needs to embrace in order to be able to attract capital, and also to have a better life tomorrow.
There's also the aspect of commitment and persistence in these things, which I think are very important.
Yes, personally, I will tell you that through my own journey and my own experience, that I found that success is not a straight line. You actually fail more times than something works.
Exactly.
So I always tell even my team that you have got to be persistent and consistent towards a goal.
Yes.
It does not matter where you are now, but the direction that you are taking is ultimately what will determine whether you succeed or not.
Yes.
And that the people who succeed are not quitters.
Yes.
You have to be somebody who perseveres,
yes,
goes through, fails many times. It's even biblical. When Jesus was going to be crucified on the cross,
he fell three times.
Fell 3 times, and he woke up, and he continued, and he gave us salvation.
Indeed.
He did. So failures are part of the journey to succeed.
Yes.
But that consistency, persistency towards a goal is very important. But I always had a few other things to what I call a recipe to success. And these are, you've got first of all to work hard, because ukiona vyalia vyaundwa. You've got to be determined to work hard. Number 2, you've got to be disciplined, because discipline will not allow you to perfect the skill, like I said.
Yeah.
Number 3, you've got to fear God. At the end of the day, we were created by God to make an impact, to serve Him, and here on earth, and at the end, it helps to give you a moral compass, a moral direction.
Yes.
Because some of the attractions out here will actually be your fall.
Indeed.
So if you have faith in God, you are likely to go somewhere. And then finally, you must have a goal. You must have a plan for your life where you say, in this period of time, I'm in school. After school, this is what I'm going to do. And this is particularly one of the things that I emphasize a lot to the youth.
All right, let us take a break. We'll continue on that point. And also when we come back, we'll be talking about the aspect of culture. And we also talk about his book that is called Essentials of Akamba Culture. Stay with us.
Congratulations, Gina.
Huyu ni mtoto mdogo. Uongo. Nyamaza. Unataka kusema daktari anadanganya?
Vitu zote ziko under plan. Wale wageni tulikuwa tumewalika wameconfirm attendance.
Mabibi na mabwana, sogeeni tuanze shughuli yetu. Na karibuni sana.
Amelewa tena.
Dadi aliacha pombe.
Familia ya shida tu.
Nakupenda dadi, amka tuende.
Dadi akusikii.
Amenishika.
The world of governance is vast and can be alien to the ordinary man on the street. Critical issues are going to be discussed. From white papers to policy positions, it is easier to get lost in the labyrinth of words. Inside Government takes you to key global metropolis where critical decisions are made and where policies are crafted. We interview policymakers and senior government officials to highlight and enumerate government policies and projects. We take a deep dive into the underbelly of complex red tape to demystify policies across the country, across the world. Join me, O'Brien Kimani, on Inside Government, only on KBC Channel 1.
How can you do the human being to be a president? Kichuaje Owiti yuko na watoto ndani ya tumbo?
Mimi alijua baada ya wetu kuanguka, sanduku kabasuka na yeye akabasuka na watoto 3 wakatoka ndani yake.
Owiti ni mama ama ni mwanaume?
Ni mwanaume.
And why did you kill Washington?
Really, Baba?
Why? Yes.
I didn't kill him.
Don't deny, please.
Nikimuuliza na niambia bila linielezea ati hiyo ni mimba alikuwa
nani?
Mwanaume.
Sasa hata swali lile
na ni marehemu.
Wewe uliniambia mnaongea naye.
Okay, mimi kuna siri niliambiwa na Owiti. Na hiyo siri sitakwambia hata siku moja, hata ukilifanya namna gani.
Welcome back to Good Morning Kenya. This is all about change makers, fostering education, culture and youth empowerment. And speaking of culture, Mr. Felix Chengo is a published author, and he has authored a book titled The Essentials of Akamba Culture. This is the book, Essentials of Akamba Culture. First of all, I want to get from you what inspired this.
Thank you, Mike, for that question. What inspired that book is actually a personal issue or personal matter. Like I said at the beginning, I am married and I have 5 children.
Yeah.
My wife happens not to come from my community. She's at Aveta. My children have grown up in Nairobi because, as I've explained through my career, I was always working in Nairobi.
Yeah.
So I had very little background or time for the rural areas. So as I was trying to give the very best to my children, I took my children to some of the best schools.
Yes.
They've turned out very well. I thank God for that. I introduced them to sound Christianity values. They're still following. I thank God for that. But then I looked at the children and I realized they do not even know the basics of Akamba culture, of who they are.
Wow.
And that kind of made me feel very guilty. So this book was born out of a guilty conscience, a guilty feeling of a situation in which I felt I could do little or nothing. But then I said, instead of sitting there and feeling sorry for myself, let me think of what I can put down so that I gift this book to my children, first and foremost. So I looked at what would I have wanted my children to learn. So that book consists from very elementary aspects of culture like language, greetings, clans, all those kind of things, to very complex matters of even life after death, religion and all that, and what are the death rituals, and even things like witchcraft and all. It covers a wide range of things. So I looked at what is it that I would want my children to know about our culture. So I put it down in writing. Of course, it took me quite a while because all of this is not imagination. It's work of research and talking to a lot of people and reading. So it took us almost 4 years to produce this book.
The research process.
The research process and talking to, to the various people, interviewing all the people and collecting the data and all that. So we launched the book in June this year at Uwezo College, because we normally have at Uwezo College a cultural week.
Yes.
Because I try to emphasize that, mwacha mila ni mtumwa. If you embrace so much westernization, then you lose some of your key values. So in the Uwezo College, we normally have a cultural week around June, and during that week is when I launched this book. So, and then I brought my children. I gifted them the book there in front of the cameras and everything to say, here is your heritage, here is your reference point. If you want to learn it, the Kikamba language, look elsewhere. But this is purely on cultural value. So it's the most, those who have looked at it have said it's the most wide coverage book in terms of topics. Because it starts from the origin of Kamba, where do we come from? It goes to the language, it goes to the foods we eat, it goes to our entertainment, it goes to the attire we wear, it goes to dowry, it goes to witchcraft, it goes to to life after death. It goes to almost every aspect you can think of, of their Kamba culture. So it's like a one-stop shop, not in too much detail, because I didn't also want to box them with too much detail, but sufficient to give them an idea of how our society was organized, what were our values and organization, and in particular, values and the religion part of the book makes me feel that is where the rain began to beat us as a society. So although the book is dedicated to my children, I realized there are many other people who, for whatever reason, might find themselves in the same situation of, you know, they've grown up in cosmopolitan areas. They've not had a chance to learn about who they are as a people. So, so this book would be useful for, you know, for that purpose. And not necessarily Wakambas. Like sometimes I meet a lot of people who tell me, oh, we are going to Udhoni in Ukambani. What is the dowry? What are the practices? If you really want to find out things like that, we have taken enough time to make sure that we have detailed the processes and everything that happens.
Especially the cooking part.
Especially where you cook, you cook for the family, for your in-laws. Yes. The 3 goats that you have to bring, you know, all those things, the one that you have to slaughter.
You know, some people find it very strange that I'm coming to marry your daughter, but I'm the one who is coming to cook.
To cook, yes,
but
yes.
Now they fail to understand this is the way of the Kamba people.
Yes, of course, yes. And that's what defines us. That's culture. Culture is what defines our people.
Yes.
That's what we are.
Yes.
And if that is our culture, then tuheshimiane kwa hiyo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, when you look at Kenya, Kenya is a very diverse country in terms of culture. But then again, how does that diversity, our cultural heritage and diversity, how can it be used to inspire and empower the young people?
Yeah, I mean, that is already happening, particularly now with the CBC, for mode of education. You find that the current CBC has different pathways, and one of the pathways is actually towards those kind of acting, because culture includes things like performing arts.
Yes.
It includes music. It includes, you know, food. It includes many sports and all those kind of things. So in the modern day Kenya, with the current CBC education, you find that there is already a development in the right direction of not necessarily a specific, you know, community culture, but generally to use various aspects of art and what have you, some which are cultural, like if you look at that, the cover of the book, those are Kambas dancing.
Yeah.
So
is this what is called Kelume?
What is that is Kelume. That is typically Kelume. but Kelume tended to be for the older women who would dress in black, and usually the drum they were using was a bigger drum, so the drummer sat on it.
So is it the drum that is called Kelume, or it's the dance?
It's a dance. It's a dance.
I used to think Kelume is the drum.
The drum can be called variously, like Mukanda or Kedembe or something like that. So they'll put it next to a fire to warm it, to warm it so that it sounds very, very, very loud and whatever. So that is Kelume. So culture can be a way in which youth can earn a livelihood, and like I've said, is mainly around performing arts, foods, dressing. If there are many people who are making a livelihood of making fashionable cultural dresses. You hear there's a shop in somewhere in Surrey, and I'm not marketing for them, but it's called Something African.
Yes.
So you go to functions and you want something African. So through cultural drawing, cultural practices. Like for example, Kambas are known for very bright colors.
Yes.
So you can decide. Yeah. I've covered that in the book, some of the colors that are preferred.
Yeah.
So you can use culture, some of those kind of things, inclinations, to come up with something that can give you a livelihood. So you can start, like even in the college, we have a department for fashion and design, where we try to encourage them to be making clothes for cultural events and things like that. So there is a lot that can be, and that one can do to earn a livelihood out of culture.
There's someone up there, one of our directors there, wako pale juu anauliza, what is the difference between Muthokoi and Isio?
Just tell him to go and buy the book, you'll see. Anyway, that was on a light note.
Yes.
Muthokoi is normally the mains that is taken, and then you see traditional peso, a big thing, and a stick. The women would pound it, and it used to be a very nice entertainment. So because they would be pounding one after the other, one pounds down, another one pounds up, like that, until the shell of the mains comes off. So it's unshelled maize. They used to do it like
beat
that.
It up. I think it's the same thing that used to happen back in the day in the plains of Mwea before the posho mills came.
Yeah.
They used to do the same.
They used to do the same. So when maize is done that and the outer skin is removed, and it's skinless, and then mixed with beans, then it's called Muthokoi.
Oh.
Now, if you don't do that and you just take the beans, and you mix with the maize and shell, that is Isio.
Yes.
Yes. That's a different.
Now, do you think when it comes to culture, we can fully reclaim some of the cultural aspect that could be said have been eroded by modernity in terms of practices, beliefs, and maybe lifestyle?
I think it's a very good question. One of the things that I have tended to highlight at the very beginning of the book is that this book about culture is not an attempt to tell people to go to the traditional ways that were bad. For example, wife inheritance, FGM, and all that, or even to tell them to adopt, to abandon Christianity and join, traditional ways of worship. But it's a way to show them how rich our culture was at that point. Now, the problem has been that when we got colonialism, the colonialists came and wanted to destroy, our culture, our religion, our economic ways of life, and all that. So, because now he made us believe like we were worshipping a God that was not real God, and that is God was the only God that was real. And I'm not trying to, like I've said, I'm not trying to demonize, to challenge the current Christianity. I'm just trying to say when he came, that's what he told us. But during my research, I found that, like the campus, we truly worship one God, Mulungu, Ngai.
Yes.
So one of the things that we can do is, for example, not to think that anything that was done traditionally was bad. There were elements that were bad, but there is a lot of good things that were happening traditionally. And one of the values that I believe we lost, and if there's a way in which we can reclaim, would be important, is the social family life, and the social fiber in which our communities used to develop. For example, a child belonged to the community. If a child misbehaved, alikuwa punished by anyone in the society.
It took a village.
It took a village to raise a child.
Yeah.
That would be something nice if we can have it today. If we cannot accept that these children are turning delinquent, they are turning delinquent because we actually abandoned some of our values. Family systems, if there was a dispute in the family, there was a way in which disputes were resolved, even between a husband and a wife. There was first of all the family, the head of the family. There were the elders. There was the clan, and then there was the bigger elders who were also from more diverse areas. Those people helped to keep a very tight discipline.
Yes,
that discipline today is probably part of what is causing a lot of ills. For example, divorce rates in traditional days were almost zero. Okay? Today, if you are married, mkikosana once, enda zako niende zangu. But now if it was in the traditional days, the wazees would stay together and they would discuss and all that. And there was even in Kamba culture, there was even a situation where a woman, if she felt offended by the husband, for whatever reason, she actually went back to her home. We used to call it uwendo.
Yeah.
Anaenda huko na kusudi somebody comes for her. Then when they come to her, they resolve. So those are some of the very good cultural values that we had, which were lost and which I would wish they would come back. Even the respect of elders, the integrity. You could not go out there and steal somebody's property. In fact, like us, Akamba, we were very big on Kithitu. You take my thing, I get Kithitu and you die together with all.
Let's close with this. Culture, education, youth empowerment. How can they now be used to come up with a more resilient community in less than 30 seconds?
In less than 30 seconds, I think they are all intertwined. They all make a society of who we are. So ignoring one makes us lose out on a lot of the other aspects. So like I said, if you leave culture, utakuwa mtumwa. So culture is important, those aspects. Number two, if you don't get educated, then you also have no role in modern world. If you don't get a skill, and particularly if you didn't go very far with education, then you also are likely to be bound to poverty. And therefore, embracing all of them means that one can actually have a successful life.
Indeed. Yeah. Thank you so much for making time to come and talk about this.
Asante sana.
That is,
thank you for having me.
Karibu sana. That is Felix Chengo, who is the director of Uwezo College, and also a published author of Essentials of Akamba Culture. This is where this conversation ends. My name is Mike Migu. Thank you for tuning in. Vivian Ndegwa is up next with Women at the Forefront. Stay with us.
Congratulations, Gina.
Huyu ni mtoto mdogo.
Uongo.
Jamaza, wewe kusema daktari anadanganya.
Vitu zote ziko under plan. Wale wageni tulikuwa tumewalika wameconfirm attendance.
Mabibi na mabwana, sogeeni tuanze shughuli yetu. Na karibuni sana.
Amelewa tena.
Dadi aliacha pombe.
Familia ya shida tupu.
Nakupenda dadi, amka tuende.
Dadi akusikii.
Amenishika.
We have to find out the project they are about to do.
This might bring a company down.
Leave that to me.
I knew I could count on you.
Niko na chai moto. Where?
What are you doing?
Vlogging. Anyways, as I say,
You can't keep treating her like that.
Nialisha uniita shetani.
You might spare the road and spoil the child. Don't burn the food thinking about my daughter. You see this one right here? He's drowning in debt.
Mnaona?
No.
Wachana na yeye.
Why does he hate me?
No, he doesn't.
Then he has to be so bad at living with people.
They say the earth without art would just be get it? We circumnavigate the globe and traverse the local scene to bring you arts and culture at their very best. From fine art, culinary art, performing arts, and even cultural events, you name it, and we have got you covered. My name is Kevin Kasioki, and I will be serving you this and much, much more each and every Friday at 8 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.
Here we are. Thank you for staying with us. This is Women at the Forefront. And today our topic of conversation is bridging cultures and inspiring minds. In studio with me is one Mary Kay Benson. And she is an educationist, a musicologist, and a coach as well. She's invested in education. And she's big on inspiring the next generation. And that is why she is our woman at the forefront today. She is going to be telling us a story of how she came from being a Kenyan teacher, going over to Sweden and becoming a star teacher over there. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Vivian.
Mm-hmm. You're doing well this morning?
Yes, I'm well, thank you.
All right, let us begin.
Great weather.
Yeah, great weather.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, let us begin with you just getting to have a background of who exactly Mary is.
I've heard you say Mary Kay.
Mm-hmm.
It's Mary Kariuki Bengtson.
Mm-hmm.
I'm born and raised in Kirinyaga County, Kenya. And I am a professional educationist, a behavioral strategist in education, a career coach. I am a mother and a wife. I have taught in Kenya and I've also taught in Europe, but now I am here, Vivian. Yes.
That is who Mary Kariuki is.
Yes.
All right, I will have to cut you short. We need to head over to State House right now, where the president is at, and there is the presentation of credentials. Presentation of credentials is happening at State House right now, and the president will be handing over credentials to some of the ambassadors present over there. As you can see right there on your screens, that is what is happening. It is just about to begin, and the credentials will be presented by the President of the Republic of Kenya, President William Samoei Ruto. He will be the one doing the presentation. We will have several ambassadors, including His Excellency Mr. Farid Ohid Dahman, Ambassador Designate Algeria. We'll also be having Ms. Kathleen Nyirati, Ambassador Designate Hungary. We'll have Her Excellency Ms. Catherine Moore, who is Ambassador Designate Norway. We'll also have His Excellency Yuri Toka, Ambassador Designate Ukraine. We'll have Ms. Gisele Fernando, Ambassador Designate Mexico. So how about we just hand you over to State House, Nairobi right now. Let's head over there.
Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Algiers. Head of Legal Affairs Department. Before 2005, he was a columnist of the National Daily Press newspapers on international, legal, relations, and economic issues. His Excellency, the Ambassador Designate, holds professional law degrees as a lawyer. He holds 3 master's degrees in international law and international and political studies. He was born in Bilda, Algeria. He is married and has 3 children.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, I have the honor to present to you Mr. Farid Wahid Dahmane, Ambassador Designate of the People's Democratic Republic of Algeria.
Excellency. Your Excellency, President William Samoei Ruto, it's an extraordinary honor to present to Your Excellency my credentials as Ambassador Plenipotentiary and Extraordinary of the People's Democratic Republic of Algeria to the Republic of Kenya and the letter of recall of my predecessor. At the outset, allow me to convey to Your Excellency the brotherly compliments and the warmest greetings of His Excellency President Abdelmajid Tebboune, and to express my privilege due to my appointment by His Excellency the President Abdelmajid Tebboune as the Ambassador to the Republic of Kenya. I am fully committed to work tirelessly, hand in hand with the diplomatic representatives, public administration, brothers and sisters of the Republic of Kenya, in order to strengthen furthermore the long-standing ties existing between Kenya and Algeria, by coordinating closely to densify political consultations, as our two countries are key actors at the African level and in our continental forums. On the other hand, the promising relationships between our two countries in the economic, cultural, and social fields, which have seen progress in some sectors in recent years, can furthermore be successfully enhanced by exploring and identifying new areas of cooperation of common interest between our two countries, in which fruitful cooperation could be conducted for the mutual benefit of both nations, and to which we are actively working. The presentation of my credentials coincides with an African event of prime importance taking place currently in Algiers from the 4th to the 10th of September. Today is the last day of the event, namely the Intra-African Trade Fair 2025. With regard to the high-level governmental delegations of the Republic of Kenya and to the important number of Kenyan economic operators participating to this continental gathering, the Intra-African Trade Fair constitutes an excellent opportunity to create additional momentum in order to foster bilateral political ties and to promote further economic cooperation that exists between our two countries, as well as the integration at the regional intra-African level. It's my earnest hope that I shall succeed in my endeavor. With humility and determination, I look forward to working for that purpose by contributing to build more bridges for boldly shaping a future of shared prosperity between Kenya and Algeria. Thank you, Excellency.
I, William Samoei Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya, by dint of Article 132(4)(b) of the Constitution of Kenya, do accept your letters of credence and authorize you to pursue the interests of your country within Kenya's territory by fostering the bonds of friendship and promoting, to the widest extent possible, the mutual aspirations of the peoples of our two nations. Ambassador, good morning.
Good morning.
Congratulations on your appointment.
Thank you.
Welcome to Kenya.
Thanks.
My very best wishes in your tour of duty, and I look forward to working with you.
I'm very honored.
Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency.
Republic of Kenya.
Congratulations.
He was in your country
a few days ago.
a few days ago.
Excellency.
Yes.
Thank you.
Prime Cabinet Secretary and Minister for Foreign Affairs.
Excellency.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Deputy Chief of Staff in my office.
Thank you so much.
The Ambassador Designate, the Hungarian People's Republic. She brings with her more than 20 years of distinguished service in diplomacy, with particular expertise in African affairs. She has served as Deputy Head of Missions at the Embassy of Hungary in South Africa. Later in her career, she was Head of West and East African Unit. She has also served as Deputy Head of Secretariat for the Southern Relations. Most recently, she was Head of the Africa Department at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade in Hungary.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, I have the honor to present to you Ms. Katalin Nyirati, Ambassador Designate of Hungary.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, first and foremost, let me convey to you the greetings of His Excellency, Mr. Tamás Súlyog, President of Hungary. I would also like to relay to you his wish to reaffirm Hungary's commitment to strengthening the ties between our two countries and to seek new areas to deepen our cooperation, both in the bilateral and multilateral arenas. Hungary regards Kenya as a key partner in Africa. In the past 10 years, relations between our countries have grown into a strong and dynamic partnership based on mutual respect and shared aspirations. We have laid strong foundations for cooperation in the political field, education, agriculture, and trade. Bilateral interactions on the highest levels have become regular and constructive since 2016, including the milestone visit of former President János Áder to Kenya in 2022. We greatly value that Kenya, like Hungary, is a committed advocate of peace and considers diplomatic resolution of conflicts the only viable path forward. The foundation of friendship lies in people-to-people connections. Through the Stipendium Hungaricum program, Hungary proudly grants 200 scholarships every year to Kenyan students. Today, more than 520 Kenyans study in Hungary, and many hundreds have already graduated. At the same time, we greatly appreciate the 10 scholarships offered by Kenya to Hungarian students, which add valuable reciprocity to our educational ties. These exchanges empower our youth, strengthen mutual understanding, and prepare the next generation to carry our partnership forward. In trade and investment, Hungarian companies are increasingly active, bringing innovative technologies to promote Kenya's development priorities. Our trade volumes continue to grow. Looking ahead, energy cooperation stands out as a vital area of mutual interest, based on the Memorandum of Understanding we signed in 2024 on cooperation in peaceful uses of nuclear energy. In this spirit, we warmly welcome your government's decision to establish a Kenyan embassy in Budapest, which will give new momentum to political dialogue, economic relations, and cultural exchange. Your Excellency, Hungary will remain a reliable, constructive, and forward-looking partner of Kenya. I will dedicate my mission to further enhancing our collaboration, particularly through investing in youth, strengthening the ties between our business communities, and contributing to Kenya's sustainable development. Herewith, I present my letters of credence to you. Thank you very much.
I, William Samoei Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya, by dint of Article 132(4)(b) of the Constitution of Kenya, do accept your letters of credence and authorize you to pursue the interests of your country within Kenya's territory by fostering the bonds of friendship and promoting to the widest possible the mutual aspirations of the peoples of our two nations. Madam Ambassador, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Kenya. Congratulations on your appointment. My very, very best wishes on your tour of duty, and I look forward to working with you.
Me too. I'm honored. Thank you.
Those are live pictures from State House, Nairobi. President William Ruto right there leading the presentation of credentials by ambassadors from various countries. And right now he is just introducing Miss Katalin Nyirati, who is the ambassador for Hungary in Kenya. And of course, in her oath, she has vowed to ensure that she will continue working with Kenya, especially on matters to do with education, given that Kenya and Hungary have enjoyed a very good relationship and bilateral ties spanning for about 10 years. And of course, she has talked about the number of students that are currently studying in Hungary, and of course the need for Kenya to continue cooperating with that particular country. And of course, while accepting her credentials, President William Ruto of course authorizes her to continue pursuing her interests and the interest of her country right here in Kenyan territory for the betterment of the two countries. And earlier on, the president also received credentials from Farid Damane, who is the ambassador that will be representing Algeria in Kenya. And of course, after this particular photo session and of course an introductory section, we are going to have Catherine Moe, who is also the ambassador designate for Norway, and we are also going to
Ambassador
have Yuri
designate
Tokar,
the
who
Kingdom
is the ambassador
of Norway.
designate for Ukraine.
She has a bachelor's degree in political science, University of Oslo, Norway, a master's of political science, law and French, University of Oslo and Bergen, Norway. She has an illustrious career, and to highlight a few of her previous assignments: in January 2024, she was Director, Africa Section, Department for Regional Affairs, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. In 2016 to 2019, Director, Section of Budget, Financial Monitoring Management, Department of UN, Humanitarian Affairs, and Ministry of Foreign Affairs. 1997 to 1999, Second Secretary. She is married with 3 children.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, I have the honor to present to you Ms. Catherine Moe, Ambassador Designate of Norway.
Your Excellency, it is an honor to present to Your Excellency the letter of accreditation from His Majesty King Harald V, nominating me Ambassador of Norway to the Republic of Kenya. This is the second time I'm serving as a diplomat in Kenya. I am honored to return and to see a country which is prospering economically and taking an active role on the global scene to solve critical challenges such as climate change. Your Excellency, Kenya and Norway enjoy strong, long-standing relations. Our relationship has evolved from development cooperation into a partnership focusing on business and investment, knowledge exchange, and a joint commitment to promote democratic values, international law, peace and security. The Norwegian Sovereign Wealth Fund and the Norwegian Investment Fund have combined investments in Kenya of close to $500 million. Around 50 Norwegian companies are engaged in sectors such as agriculture, renewable energy, ICT, and startups. We will work to scale up. We appreciate the excellent cooperation between Kenya and Norway on multilateral and UN-related issues. We share the values of upholding international law and a rules-based international order. Norway is a strong supporter of Nairobi's role as UN capital. We look forward to working together on UN reform in the context of the cross-regional group UN 80 Global. Kenya plays an important role in ensuring peace and security in the region. Norway has a long history of promoting peace and stability in the Horn of Africa, supporting IGAD and AU efforts. We are committed to continuing our engagement and welcome an even stronger cooperation with Kenya in achieving peaceful solutions to conflicts on the African continent. Your Excellency, I thank you. Asante sana.
I, William Samoei Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya, by dint of Article 132(4)(b) of the Constitution of Kenya, do accept your letters of credence and authorize you to pursue the interests of your country within Kenya's territory, within the law, by fostering the bonds of friendship and promoting to the widest possible the mutual interests of the peoples of our two countries. Madam Ambassador, good morning. Welcome to Kenya. Congratulations on your appointment. My very best wishes as you take up this responsibility, and I look forward to working with you. Thank you, sir.
Well, right there is Miss Catherine Moe, who is the ambassador for Norway right here in Kenya. She's just taken her oath of office, and of course President William Ruto, after welcoming her into the country and just telling her that she should continue serving this country and of course fostering the bonds of relationship and friendship between Kenya and Norway. Right now the president is introducing her to some of the people that she will be working closely right here in Kenya. Some of the leaders present there, including Deputy President Kithure Kindiki and of course Prime Cabinet Musalia Mudavadi, who is also the Cabinet Secretary for Foreign Affairs.